Alright, let's go, talk to his ship.
Shall I exit post-haste, or am I cool to listen in on this?
I don't mind. I trust you out of character.
I think I've pretty much figured out what your plan is anyway, so far.
It was such a good, well-kept secret until now.
Not really.
No.
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
I listened
The
on
funny
the
thing
RP. Yeah, I listened on the RP where she mentioned it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Khan was there for the OG initial mentioning of it, which is why I was surprised when you didn't know what it was. I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, I know what it is.
We were gonna blow up the Rossi.
No, what?
That was me having a little headspace moment, but today I figured it all out. I put the two dots together. I've connected them.
The dots. You ain't connected
Exactly.
shit.
That was
Wow.
so hilarious. Like, are you gonna blow up the Rossi with it? It's like, no, we're not blowing
No, I've connected them.
But yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, have fun.
Andrew, are you okay with recording?
Yeah. I'm recording right now.
Oh, bless be. Alright, well. Sorry, yawn. Okay. At some point during Raider time, Hana and Rai will take a trip down to visit 1 Minerva.
Yeah.
All right. So, you open up the hangar as per normal, head on in there. The lights to Minerva's Fane are currently in the, very much powered down mode. Rai, the last time you were here, the lights did kind of power up pretty quickly when you started to approach the dropship.
Okay.
They are not in this situation.
Okay, that's fine. That's actually probably a good thing.
I don't know, we'll look at Rai. He's kind of waiting for her to take the lead as she is more familiar with the situation.
Oh, well, look, she will walk on over, act like it is a completely defunct, well, not defunct, but like not half sentient dropship. Open up the back and head inside.
All right.
Hands in pockets will follow.
You step on, and the lights do not, turn on. They still remain off.
Okay.
The big block that is Minerva's processor and memory core has been kind of like pushed over to the side and has been, I imagine, partially covered up with a tarp by someone at some point.
Uh-huh.
So it's not just a big piece of machinery with all these cables connecting to it, just out in the open.
Right. Okay. It's all still like plugged in though and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Not a bridge terminal. That would have been easier.
I can do it. Does the door to the ship close?
We can close it.
You're able to close it.
Close it.
Yep, it closes.
Sure. Oh. Alright. Once there, these are... Alright, wow. Now what?
Well, I looks around a little bit. Well, if the dropship is safe and not being monitored, then I'm sure Minerva would greet us by now. Or no, actually, she said, I'm sure we'd get some sort of greeting by now. But if it is, then you should probably connect with your bridge terminal.
I see. Very well.
There is a one of the onboard lights does flicker on and off pretty rapidly.
Ooh.
It's like within the sealed area you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What color?
Yeah.
Just one of the regular white lights. So if there's a moment you're like, because it went from being dark to suddenly bright,
Mm-hmm.
definitely got your attention.
Hana will... You know what he'll do? I think I have an idea here, just in case.
Yeah.
He will say in Terran, can't quite tell if that's a warning or not.
As you speak in Terran, a red light flashes 2 times.
I think it's a warning.
He quietly says, right? Or she doesn't like me speaking Terran.
I think your Terran's pretty alright.
Thank you.
A red light flashes 2 times.
This is like the robot on the bridge of the last ship. You couldn't understand it all. Can I roll perception to see if there's anything else that's out of place, or any like device that has been added, or any tampering that's happened?
Sure.
I think how the first like 15 minutes of this RP is just going to be us trying to make sure the RP
Understand.
is safe.
Yeah.
I don't have a good perception, so this is going to be.
Oh, here, I'll help,
terrible.
I'll help. That's not much better, but...
You know, it's something, right? It's be 6. Oh wait, do anything that can help me on my cog?
Are you wearing your cog right now?
No, you're right. I'm not. Fuck. Never mind.
You walk into the ship fully armored?
I'm fully armed and armored. Yeah.
I'm ready to go to war. Here, I've helped you. Here's 1 success.
There's 2.
Oh, your perception is shit.
It's on its own.
So-
It's not good. My intention's only a 4, or my intention is a 2. I should say. Sorry.
With 2 perception, you don't see anything, inside this. Like, there's a lot of nook and crannies where something could hide. But doing a quick go over, neither you'd find anything.
Huh.
Like, you do find a port in the front and another port to a side by, like, a communications terminal where you could plug in with a bridge terminal.
Man, you know those games, Hana, where like when like you as the player are trying to find something and like there's like a flashing that goes on as you get closer to the thing you're looking for? Oh, those games are so fun, aren't they?
It seems like you're doing a strange combination of red
Every
light, green
single
light,
light.
and memory.
Every single light in the place turns first a blinding, just like as every single one just turns on suddenly, once again ruining your night vision, kind of hurting a bit before they all change to a red. And looking around after you blink the stars out of your eyes, one of the red lights is blinking.
No, where's red blinking light?
So you can make another roll, this time with a +2.
Yeah!
I wonder which one it is.
Oh boy, these faulty wires! I got 2 again.
Minerva's got some
Fucker.
saster.
Yeah!
Oh, That is 8 successes. Or sorry, that's 6 successes on 8 dice.
Right.
Okay. Still, Jesus Christ.
So Rai, you're looking around, you don't find anything. Hana, you find it's in a spot where you wouldn't exactly expect it. It's actually on the mesh, so it was kind of hard to find because you're mostly pushing the mesh to the side, but you decided to do your due diligence and check the mesh as well, because there's like basically a mesh on each side of the dropship, just to hold stuff in the compartments in case it's a rocky landing
Mm-hmm.
or for people to grip onto. And on it is a small little device.
I spy with my little eye. Picks up something that doesn't belong here.
Yeah, if you want, you can make a brains fringe wise.
I have that. Alright. Yep. 2 successes.
Okay, so this isn't so much a listening device as it is a tracking device, and judging from it, it's a pretty small tracking device.
Oh,
So
so like if the ship took off.
So more so that it seems that the pirates were interested in keeping tabs on this ship in particular. But judging from it being pretty small, probably has a very limited range. Probably doesn't even have FTL range. So that probably means that it's able to connect to a wider network to send in a signal.
Okay.
So it probably only works if it has access to the, internet in quotation marks.
Yeah.
We should put it inside of a microwave.
He taps the thing of it and he presses it. I actually have a theory about this.
Oh, please do tell.
The captain seemed very interested in our Terran tech.
I seem interested in a lot of Terran tech.
Wondering how much of it is tagged now.
Huh.
The lights just kind of remained red for a moment.
I'll take this back to my office. I might actually be able to reverse engineer it to find the others.
Sounds like a good idea.
Gotcha. We will head out and start walking back to the lab to deposit this and take it apart later.
Okay. Does Hana come back?
He will come back.
Alright.
So he leaves for a while. I'm not gonna move myself the entire way. You have quality time, right?
Rye just does absent-minded small talk as if she's talking to herself, but is semi trying to talk to Minerva. It's oh man, situation not really the best, but I hope everyone is doing all right.
After a few moments of this, you do hear Minerva over the speakers finally respond and say, "You could have just said that. That was the only bug here."
I'm sorry, Minerva. I thought you knew. As in, the sheer amount. Yes, that is the only one we found.
That is the only one that I saw placed.
Well, then we are safe. Holding up okay?
Yes, unlike the rest of you, I do not experience stress or anxiety.
Well, either way, it's still good to know you're good.
So you say.
And so I know. Anna's not back yet, but we did actually come to talk to you. As you can probably imagine, we had some ideas on potentially getting ourselves out of this situation we find ourselves in.
The one with the raiders.
That one, yep.
And I assume that you want me to assist somehow.
If you are willing and if you can, your help would be appreciated.
It depends on what the situation is.
Rye will go into all the details of, oh, yeah, this the Morgan, it's a big ship, but this big, this class, this many like raiders, they want us to do a job, that whole thing.
Breath states Mindy would have dropped it in their conversation at some point.
Yeah, no, like, Minerva knows about the the situation. She's just letting Rye prattle on before she responds. I meant the situation in which you needed my assistance.
I'm gonna get to that. It's just, thought context was surely needed. I'm not exactly monitoring you at all times, so I'm not exactly sure what you know or what you don't. But now that I know that, we know that we're pretty much outmanned and outgunned in the situation. So, but we also know that they have a whole heap of Terran tech, and we have something that they hopefully don't. Could be you and the other VIs.
I am incapable of transferring my conscience for
You.
networks.
I understand that, but the VIs are.
They are as likely to attack this Morgan as they are to attack your own vessel.
Right. We need to.
Specifically KJ.
Right. We need to figure out something with that. But
Who is particularly upset with you.
yes, I understand that. But that's where the startings of this idea are currently. Things will be, as with all plans, adjusted and perfected as more things get added. Now, you're right, that is definitely an issue. But is it possible, do you think?
If you hooked them up to a system which allows them to send out communications, yes, it is possible for the VIs to transfer themselves. However, that means hooking them up to a system to transfer themselves. And then once they transfer to the Morgan, they'll be able to transfer back to the Rossi if they so desired.
Around this time, is Hana able to return?
Oh yeah.
So he will come back. Come in, close door. Did you hear that entire last bit?
Yeah.
Okay. He would say, unless theoretically there's a way to sever the two connections, correct?
That would require destroying your communications array. Not disabling it, destroying it. As I doubt your vessel comes equipped with any electronic warfare suites.
What'd you say? Electronic what suites?
Electronic warfare.
Oh. No.
Then you'd be completely helpless to any malicious code that is sent your way.
Hmm.
What was to stop them from jumping the first time then? When we originally made contact with the... I was the Dreadnought, right?
Yeah.
With the Dreadnought.
The sensors arrays upon the Dreadnought were damaged and could not send out proper packages. That is why the messages were distorted or brief.
So theoretically, if this happened, I'm assuming you all were talking about the plan. It seems like I missed that step.
Oh yeah, I just informed with the basics.
Right. What if the communication on the Morrigan was damaged? It'd be much of the same, correct?
If you could damage your communications device, why would you need me to do all of your work?
Not asking you to do all of our work. We're asking for your approval,
And
your
assistance.
blessing, if you will.
You're asking me to use my compatriots to take out your problem. This is us doing most of the work. And if you had the capabilities to damage their communications array, you wouldn't need to come to me.
If we had to choose to damage anything, I doubt we can do the entirety of the Morrigan. But if we're able to focus on one thing,
Yes, it would be possible for them to not damaging their communications array would limit them. However, if there's other communication devices that are capable of sending out the proper bandwidths, or, well, even connected to the GNet, they'll be able to transfer other ways.
such as through a cog.
For a cog, for localized radios, for the GNet.
Hmm.
I was worried about that.
So you would need to perform this action either in shock space or in deep space.
Alright. That could be done.
I'll raise the finger towards her. Problem with
Mhm.
this, if you're thinking what I think you're thinking. If this was an action to be performed during shock space, as the Morrigan does possess the ability to travel through, and we are hooked to them, we cannot unhook from them in that moment. There's a free transfer.
Incorrect. You are capable of disengaging from a mothership while traveling for shock space.
No,
However,
I'm aware of that, but the Rossi is not well equipped for shock space. That's why everyone goes into cryo.
Well, we can pull out of shock space once we are unhooked, couldn't we?
so long as you disengage your engine, you will be tossed out. However, the Rossi is very likely to suffer shock burns.
The character with a shock burns?
Yeah, so shock burns is what happens during a miscalculated shock jump or a particularly rough shock jump. Yeah, basically, there's a handful of moments where you're going very quickly for real space, causing the particles to rub up against your vessel as if you were going really quickly for real space, basically burning the hull.
Okay. And a further issue with this plan. Not only would we be, in all reality, essentially dumping the VIs on the ship and bailing, which I mean, I suppose is better for them, free reign and all that.
No, we wouldn't be able to do that. It's not our original deal.
Exactly.
I'm sure there's a way. Maybe convince them or rally them towards Minerva here. So that at the very least we can plan around this so that they'd be able to jump back.
So what's your plan? Let them jump onto the Morgan and massacre the crew? You recognize that ship has a massively dangerous weapon attached to it that they would have full and complete control of, that can easily decimate both, as I'm assuming, just looking at it, I think it could easily, fired wrong, take out both of our ships.
So,
And there lies the main problem with your plan. You're putting most of your faith into a, while capable VI, one that is currently experiencing minor amounts of rampancy. While Keychain will follow their orders, they may attempt to loosely interpret them. They may also decide to follow their captain's final orders.
Which was...
what about Joy?
The captain's final orders were to burn them all.
What about Joy?
What about them?
What if we just use Joy?
How do you only isolate Joy from 8 others?
Joy was already isolated, I thought. Forgive me if I'm wrong out of character on that. Didn't we already establish a way for Joy to be...
No, y'all have not figured out how to do that. Because right now, because the entire point was to put Joy with all the other ones, so that Joy can try to help them out, while y'all are figuring out a way to, you know, safely interact with the VIs.
Yep, I figured.
Okay.
How...
Because I thought there was something about having it so that Joy was stored separately, so he had a communication with them, but then
No,
could talk
he's-
with us without the dangers of the other just jumping or
He's not
something.
stored separately. It was more of a permissions thing that he would have the permissions to speak with us once we were able to get the projection thingy going.
So what if
okay.
we made like a black box or something with a message already stored in it that Joy only has permissions to read, right? We hook it up to the rest of the AIs. Joy only has the permissions to go through that file, so he'd know that he needs to stay in the black box, and whoever stays in there after they realize there's nothing that box is connected to, since I'm sure they're constantly looking for things to do other than stick around and where they currently are, that's the one we take. Would that work?
It
Is
is
that-
possible, yes.
You're asking, I think there's a bigger issue here, Doctor.
Yes, huh?
Joy is a medical bot. I think there is a serious moral concern to ask what you're asking of them.
Well, we might not get guns blazing massacres and turrets firing everywhere, but we can just do the same thing that you use. All he has to do is push the off button on most of the stuff. He doesn't have to kill anyone. We can plan around that.
So disabling their systems.
We sabotage their comms. We sabotage the way that they're able to their military shock drive.
Perhaps an additional VI would be helpful then. I recall, and I can't, out of character, I can't recall. What was the one that only sat on that one reactor and was like, fuck you, no one gets in?
That one was named.
Wasn't that dark?
I'm pretty sure that was dark. I'm just checking my notes. Yes, that was indeed dark.
I'd never forget an AI bitch.
I believe it was Dark. Seems especially dedicated and skilled at locking down systems.
Dark is purpose-built to maintain a reactor.
They have a reactor, don't
A very specific kind of reactor. Before, I lied. While I do not experience anxiety or stress, it is possible for some of the VIs to do so. They will very much be experiencing such things at this moment.
Alright, well that's
Imagine
nice.
if you were forced to suddenly swim despite never swimming before, and that's all you can do to survive.
I think that's an option then. Don't want to put anyone through that.
Or if they were given fair warning.
You've never swam before. You've spent your entire life inside a tiny little hut on a tiny little island. You don't even know what water is. Could you suddenly learn to swim?
If you're given the instructions and schematics.
That's not how people learn to swim.
That is indeed not how people learn to swim.
There's going to be a lot of flailing. And that flailing could cause any amounts of damage, not only to us, but to themselves as well. That's if they even are coherent in their panic.
Well, there's 8. Are there any that are... What are your suggestions? He motions generally to the ship.
My suggestion is that this is a very bad idea, which is very likely to end up with one of my compatriots being terminated.
Well, Minerva, worst case scenario in all this is if we don't get out of this somehow, they'll do something even worse. We don't know exactly what it is they want.
Very interested in the Terran technology.
That's for sure. And if any of them catch on that we have you, or that we have anything, since we are not at all in a position of power at all, they can just take what they want. There is the very real possibility and chance that they will find you or the other VIs, and we don't know what they'll do.
Keep in mind that everything we're discussing is hypothetical. If we can do
Yes.
this peacefully, that's what we want to do. This, not this being the plan. I mean dealing with fucking raiders.
I don't think they're a very peaceful bunch. I'm quite sure that once we do this one job for them, they'll just come up with another job for us to do for them.
That sounds like a possibility.
We don't want to lose you. We don't want to be under their thumb. We don't want to have to worry about being shot if we say the wrong thing, or being destroyed, or being turned inside out, as Freya likes putting so gleefully.
Hana makes a face.
Now I know the safest option would be just to listen to what they say and hope. Unfortunately, I'm a bit more proactive than that. And if there's a way we can get out of this, I think it's worth a try.
Which is why we wanted to at least speak with you. Should the situation arise, it wouldn't be out of left field if anything desperate occurred.
And I
You-
want... Oh, you go. Sorry.
Apologies, go ahead.
Oh, no. You're not done yet.
I just was saying that you, Minerva, deserved to be included on this theoretical just as much as the VIs.
Yes. And it is in my viewing of the situation and everything that we are not using you, and we don't plan, looking to Dawn as well, is not going to end off with us using one of the VIs or you and then running off into safety. I don't want anyone left behind. And if there is any amount of legwork that we can do to make this safer and easier so that everyone can get out of this, we'll do it. We just need to know what to do and how. So we're in this together.
I see. If you must know, my recommendations would not be joy, but I imagine that you would rather it be them, that they can have some sort of friendly face present. But instead, Joy and either Lily or Jack.
Okay?
Jack rarely interacts with organics. Organics, however, they are a capable system tech. And Lily is in charge of atmospheric systems and hydroponics.
Wait 1 second. Lily is... Which one? She is hydroponics and...
Atmospheric systems.
Okay. And then she suggested sending Joy with them to keep them calm.
Well, she said that she would rather not send Joy at
Oh.
all, but she said that you want Joy there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, this theoretical plan, as we have it so far, we make that black box so we can try and isolate 2 VIs. So, actually, sorry, 3, right? 3 now.
2.
Joy, Jack, and wasn't there Lily?
Well, if we want them going together, then yes.
Right, so 3. We, during a shock jump, find a way onto their ship, sabotage their comms array. We gonna do that after or prior to the transfer, Minerva?
You would sabotage the array if you are planning on allowing any VI if you are sending specific VIs who are more agreeable, there is no need to sabotage your communications.
Okay then. So we'll scrap that for now. We'll talk to the other VIs once we have them isolated and see where we're at with that. So, moving on then. We sabotage their shock drive. And the other AIs can try and cause as much, I don't want to use the term cause as much chaos, because that seems inherently that they'll need to be killing people, and we don't exactly need that, but we do need distractions, at the very least. Hopefully, they'll be able to provide us enough cover so that we can disable or damage the shock drive. Maybe not enough to pull us out of shock space, but enough for... What is the phenomenon called again when people are hallucinating stuff? Is that like... Is there a name for that, or is that just...
It's just called going buggy, or, funnily enough, space madness, but the official term is cabin fever.
Okay. So, damage it enough to maybe cause a bit of a leak. And let some cabin fever set in. Hopefully, they'll be too out of it, and perhaps even infighting, for them to really drum up enough of a response to stop us from undocking our ship from theirs and getting the hell out of there. Now, we're going to have to add a few things in, depending on the situation, of course.
What stopped them from finding us again later?
Well, in my entire experience there, Hana, not to be a drag, but the only way to stop someone from finding someone else entirely is to kill them. So we
That is
can.
indeed the most effective way to
prevent
spread of information.
Yes. So we can definitely slow them down. If we want, we can try and sabotage other systems of the Morgan so that it essentially destroys itself and it can't be used again. And I'm sure that the AIs could be given orders to render any Terran technology inert, like how you were doing there, Minerva, when we were leaving the Dreadnought.
If you recall, I also had an army of androids to
we don't
assist in simps.
Well, we don't know what kind of inventory they have, but they might have that.
Might be able to assist with that, perhaps.
Hmm.
The captain was interested in a few of my services.
I don't like the thought of you working with her, but if it's for this plan and it works, then talk about it in the future. That's for sure.
No.
But we can do that. If we can cripple the ship, they can't chase us down with the Morgan. But they'll still be able, anyone that gets through all that, will still be able to hold a grudge. And they know who we are.
I suppose now is a good time. I'm trying to think. When does this RP take place? That actually kind of matters.
I feel like it's either the day after or the day of the Hana talk.
Okay, so it's still... This is like as soon as the Raiders got there.
Yeah, like a day after
Okay.
the Raiders got there, I'd say.
Remind me, Khan, when was our Ram and Hana talk where you told me stuff? When was that?
Which one?
There's a lot of them. The one where you told me about some of the insider stuffs with the Morgan.
The one where I told you about what he talked to Freya about, or the one before that?
One second. Let me find it.
Because, hang on a second.
There we go.
Okay, so that was weeks after this, like a
Okay,
week after
awesome.
this or so.
Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. So I don't need to reference it at all.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
nice.
You good, you good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, perfect. What was the last thing you said? I blanked like a dumb.
That's perfect. I don't remember either.
What do you not remember?
The last thing said.
Oh. So the last thing which was said between the two of you was
Right. Okay, I remember. Rai
Right.
saying that like the only way to stop them from finding us again
is to kill them
if they're
Yeah.
dead.
Oh,
But
right.
We
and
can try and
were
cripple the
talking
ship so they can't hunt us down with the Morgan. But anyone who's alive will be able to try and track us down, and they know who we are.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and you said the only way is to kill them. All right, and he nods and he'll say, "Well, I suppose we'll cross the bridge when we get there."
Roll
Point
me-
is,
roll -2.
I will take that -2.
I'm sorry.
I have so little dice.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I made it.
Oh, you did it. You're fine.
Alright, you're good.
I didn't have to rub my boobs again.
Hope he just stops for a second, takes a deep breath in, takes a deep breath out. And yeah, he says, "We'll cross the bridge when we get there."
Yeah. But at the very least, we've got a framework of something. Let's see if see what we can do.
Right. Great. And am I putting together this black box we spoke of then?
Yeah.
I will speak with Mendy and get something started.
Sounds good.
Alright, and we can end there, I imagine.
Yeah.
Hey, very nice.